Breaking news coming in. 19 MPs from Rajya Sabha have been suspended for a week. Nadimal Haque, Mausam Noor, Sushmita Dev, Shanta Chhetri, Santanu Sen, Dola Sen, Abhi Biswas, A.A Rahim, V. Sivadasan, Kanimozhi Somu, L. Yadav, and the ninth one is Mohammad Abdullah. They have been suspended for a week now from the Rajya Sabha. 19 MPs have been suspended for a week. We're bringing you this story on the Parliament Showdown, and our reporter will be joining us for the very latest on this. Those were the 9 MPs who have now been suspended from the disruption and the showdown that took place in the Parliament. This, of course, after both the houses resumed the proceedings. They have now been suspended. Those are the 9 names. We're getting you the names of all the 9 names. After 19 opposition MPs have been suspended for a week, you've got the ones who have been suspended include Nadimal Haque, Mausam Noor, Sushmita Dev, Shanta Chhetri, Santanu Sen, Dola Sen, Abhi Biswas, A.A Rahim, V. Sivadasan, Kanimozhi Somu, L. Yadav, Mohammad Abdullah. Paulami Saha joins us live for the very latest. Maushmi, what really happened there in terms of this suspension?
Well, what we can in fact tell our viewers right now is that 19 members of parliament of the Rajya Sabha have been suspended for a week by the chair. It was the deputy chair who was in the seat today, and these opposition MPs were basically protesting, sloganeering, and were holding up placards. They wanted an immediate discussion on the subject of price rise and GST. They wanted an immediate discussion, and they continue to, despite repeated warnings from the deputy chair, Mr. Harivansh, that they should in fact go back to their seats. And the government is not averse to any sort of discussion, but there should be order in the House. They continue to stay in the well of the House, and they continue to sloganeer, which is why eventually there was a heated discussion that happened between Derek O'Brien and the deputy chair as well. Derek O'Brien saying that he indeed wanted to raise a point of order, and the chair argued back that unless there is order in the House, there cannot be any point of order that can be raised. And there was a back and forth between Derek O'Brien and the deputy chair, Mr. Harivansh, over this, and there were repeated warnings that were given by the deputy chair to these protesting MPs that he will start naming them, which is basically calling out their names, and basically goes on record who was disrupting the House if they do not desist from protesting and holding up placards. But they continue to do the same. In fact, then he started naming the MPs as well, which includes 19 MPs, 19 opposition MPs, maximum number of them from the Trinamool Congress, 7 MPs from the Trinamool Congress who have been suspended, which includes Mausam Noor, Shanta Chhetri, Shantanu Sen, Dola Sen, Sushmita Dev, Nadimal Haque, as well as Abhi Biswas. So there are 7 MPs of the TMC and many others from the left, from the DMK, from the TRS, who have in fact been suspended from the House. There was a warning that was given to them, repeated warnings, like I said, and then the government's representative in the House, MOS Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. B. Muralidharan, stood up and said that this shouldn't be tolerated and these MPs need to be suspended. The government moved a motion in the House. That motion was put to a voice vote by the deputy chair, Mr. Harivansh, and then it was decided. The opposition objected to it. They obviously cried foul about this decision, but they demanded a division of votes in the House. The chair said, fair enough, you can have a division. Again, you need order in the House. Go back to your seats, call for a division, and I'll allow you a division. That did not happen, and then the motion to suspend these 19 MPs was adopted by the House. They were suspended for disrupting the proceedings of Parliament despite repeated warnings for 1 week. Chetty?
Opposition likely to take up the suspension of the MPs from the Rajya Sabha now?
Well, obviously the opposition will be protesting this. We are expecting to see some protests possibly tomorrow at the Gandhi statue in Parliament as well, because remember, yesterday itself 4 Lok Sabha MPs of the Congress party were suspended for the entire session in the Lok Sabha. Today 19 MPs, that's a huge number, of MPs who have been suspended for a week. We presume it's for the rest of the week, which means Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from the Rajya Sabha by the chair for disrupting proceedings of the House. So the opposition and the government continue to be at loggerheads. The government has said we're not averse to having a discussion on the subject of price rise or even that of GST, and we are ready to have that discussion. But you have to understand that the finance minister is ailing. She's suffering from COVID. She's on a recovery path. And only when she's in the House can a discussion happen, because as per protocol, on a discussion on a subject of price rise, it is only the SM who can reply at the end of the debate. Nobody else can take her place and reply on behalf of the finance ministry, which is the nodal ministry on the subject of
members.
price rise.
Polemy were not convinced with this explanation. Clearly, the opposition members did not seem to be convinced with this opposition. So, what did they exactly do that led them to get suspended?
Well, basically, like I said, Chetty, they were protesting in the well of the House. They were holding up placards, and remember that this was again part of the bulletin which was issued ahead of Parliament's monsoon session itself, that you cannot hold up placards, you cannot demonstrate protest within the precincts of Parliament, within the premises of Parliament, and especially within the House, because it disrupts proceedings and no business gets transacted. In the House, no business can be conducted. Today, the Rajya Sabha had taken up the discussion on the bill on weapons of mass destruction. The Speaker, at that point of time, the appointed Speaker from the Treasury benches, BJP MP Rakesh Sinha, was trying to speak, but despite every time him standing up and trying to speak, within every two sentences you could hear loud sloganeering and a loud noise which was being made by the opposition, because of which he was getting disrupted and he had to sit down and the chair had to intervene. So business wasn't getting transacted as a result of the constant disruption of proceedings by the opposition, which is why the chair then proceeded to suspend these 19 MPs from the upper house of Parliament.